Hello, I'm Bookface, and I'm gonna be starting this video with a quick little disclaimer. As you could likely tell from whatever nonsense I put in the thumbnail and or title, this is about myths involving monstrous sharks. Because of that, I'm obligated to remind everybody, sharks are not nearly as dangerous as they're made out to be in pop culture. Now, this isn't just a problem for their reputation. There are many species of sharks that are actually threatened or endangered, and this is somewhat due to people being utterly terrified of them. Long story short, in modern day, sharks are less a danger to us than we are to them. Humans. That being said, this little piece of myth is not something made up for a crappy sci-fi movie, of which I have watched far too many. These are ancient stories from a seafaring culture that honored sharks on a large scale, get it to the point of even deifying them. So just keep that context in mind as we continue with this video. Now, let's jump right in. Oh, don't jump in there! So, in simple terms, the Niuhi are monstrous sharks from Hawaiian myth, but there's a lot more to them than that. These folkloric fish have also been referred to as lalakea or kihikihi, and there's actually some specific meanings in these different names, unlike most creatures in mythology that just can't seem to agree on spelling or grammar. So the name lalakea typically refers to reef sharks, but lalakea at one time was specifically the name of this one individual sea monster, before the term eventually just kind of fused in to match the definition of the Niuhi. The name Kihi, however, is thought to refer to hammerhead sharks, which I personally love because you don't see nearly enough of the hammerheads. Look at this dude. Love this dude. Mwah. So sharks can already be pretty intimidating. So what takes a regular shark and turns it into a folkloric monster, aside from being thrown into a hurricane? Well, sometimes the term Niuhi would simply refer to any shark measuring 3.5 meters or more, but along with just being bigger, they were typically described as being dark gray in color with light underbellies, thick, heavy bodies, tail lobes nearly equal in length, which is the kind of detail I love seeing in my research. Very specific, most people would not notice. I almost didn't notice when I was drawing, but I caught myself. They're also thought to have fiery red eyes and are known to be incredibly vicious. So far, what we've described are essentially really big shark with spooky demon eyes. But there's a good bit more to what they actually are than just how they look. Sometimes Niuhi are actually thought to be the souls of demigods, which is kind of a tricky term in Hawaiian myth since kupu and deities aren't the exact same thing, entering the bodies of sharks. And while this usually happened after the demigod's death, it could also happen while they were still alive. I don't know what happens with the regular body. They're just taking a nap somewhere while they're remote controlling a shark from a distance. Now, I can't say whether it's because of this explanation or if it's just always a power of the Niuhi, but many also believe that the Niuhi can take human form. So for all my horror/fantasy writers looking for a way to add some weird were-shark, shark-shifter kind of thing in their stories, you're welcome! Now, because of how terrifying this creature is, most people would not mess with it, understandably. However, some people could gain permission to hunt the Niuhi, which would allow them to gain its strength. But hunting Niuhi without permission was seen as taboo, also probably very stupid. So to hunt a Niuhi, you needed a lot of bait. This bait being the decomposing bodies of presumably many pigs, the grease of which would attract the Niuhi.
Wow, you actually made chumming the water sound even worse than it already is. Congratulations, that's impressive.
Next step seems to kind of contradict some earlier info, but hey, I'm just the messenger here. So apparently Niuhi are very comfortable being touched, touch me, despite being ridiculously aggressive. And apparently they can be tamed like pet pigs.
I'm an unstoppable killing machine that all men. Ooh, head scratches.
This is an even stranger scenario if we see the Niuhi as a demigod in a different form. We've got some presumably mass murderers, but he is really into head pats. Anyways, this is all relevant because the process of hunting the Niuhi involved getting it accustomed to human touch, slipping a noose around its body, wow that's harsh, and pulling it in after a crazy struggle. So after luring it in, betraying it entirely, wrestling it real good, the Niuhi actually wouldn't be eaten, but instead their teeth would be made into incredibly valuable knives.
That's a knife.
And there you have it. Sharks may not be nearly as monstrous as we like to think, but it's fun to look at the monstrous image it had in folklore. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye!